Hi again, fourth graders, and welcome to session 18 of our Writer's Workshop. Today we are going to be taking a look at using opinion writing checklists to determine broader evidence of our story. The last few days you've been working on developing your persuasive essay, and today we want to fine-tune that story as we look at evidence, lists, and possible true parts of the story. I want you to take a few minutes to look at your piece against the opinion writing checklist. How does your piece show you are working on your goals? And what can you do to push yourself to do even better? As you reference the opinion writing checklist, pause the video now and take a serious look at your story against this particular checklist. Are you working towards those goals? And what can you do to make it even better? Take a moment to pause the video, come back to it in just a moment after you look over the checklist compared to your story. Welcome back. Writers, today we will learn that persuasive writers draw on evidence from the world to convince others. One way to do this is to gather a variety of broad evidence that can apply to lots of people. We can set up a chart like this to gather different types of evidence. 3 columns, one for evidence, one for a true story, and one for lists. Help me fill out a little bit of this chart for parents teach children what they cannot learn in school. Well, here's an example chart from a student for something else. This has to do with soccer. Referencing the parents teach children what they cannot learn in school is one that we will not be filling out in our writer's journal. So as we move on, this example chart is from a student talking about soccer. Soccer is the most popular sport in the world. More evidence is that most colleges give you a choice of soccer or other sports, and half of the students choose soccer. A true story is that the world's most famous soccer player was Pele. He won the World Cup 3 or 4 times. He grew up in a family very poor, so he did not have a soccer ball, but instead he had a coconut. Some lists include soccer is the most popular sport in the world. You only need something round and 4 big objects. You can learn history from playing soccer. You can read about it and write about it. You can teach it, and everyone should like this sport. That's an example chart from a student talking about soccer. So you're going to take today one of your reasons and think about what kinds of broader evidence you can gather to support that reason. You're going to think specifically about a story that happened to someone else and write that down. Now remember, some evidence is more powerful than others. When you look at your evidence, rank them. You can put them in number order and ask yourself, how will I use my most powerful evidence? And is there evidence I could cut out? Our job today is to make an action plan and decide what evidence you still need to gather. Try to have evidence from each section of the chart in your story, as well as outside evidence, such as a professional. You can use the internet for that. What you're doing today is creating a chart like this. In your writer's journal, I want you to make 3 columns on a new page. One for evidence, one for a true story, and one for a list. If some of these are already included in your story that you've been working on the last few days, great. Write those down. But this also forces you to add a little bit more to your story, to think a little bit harder. Whatever evidence that you can come up with, jot in column 1. In the second column, jot down a true story about your persuasive evidence thesis. Finally, list as many things as you can in the third column that fit your thesis topic. Then compare your story that you've been writing the last couple days to this 3-column listing. Are there some things that you've already used? You can cross them out or check them off. But are there some things that you haven't used yet? Maybe star those or write those in your story, either following the end of your story, or if you can just number them, you can put the numbers where you want them in the story. That's your assignment today. Good luck and get started.